We're live. NFL show. Let's do it, fellas. Thanksgiving week. We've got so much freaking football to watch this week. Dylan's over there rolling his eyes, being like, oh, Karter, you're going to watch college basketball.
There's no shot you're watching football this week.
You act like I don't have multiple TVs.
Hey, Dylan, it'll be on a tablet driving across the country or something.
Yeah, right. He's gonna have multi-view on his phone, trying to watch 3 college basketball games.
Dylan, I'm gonna be in snowy Park City, eating some turkey, watching some basketball. We're going to Park City for Thanksgiving. Family's coming out. They're renting a house.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So. I was like, just going there, just
ski
and have Thanksgiving dinner there.
I'd be
sitting here driving.
No, I'd be sitting here in the dojo watching football. You know how it is. But
in the
you
dojo.
act like I don't have multiple TVs, Dylan. I'm in negotiations right now with my wife to get another 75-inch. Like we're always pushing to better ourselves in our sports viewing experiences with our wives.
75 is the sweet spot because once you get inches that start with an 8, number one, some say it's too big. Number 2,
way too big. Too big.
The price starts skyrocketing once you start getting into the 80s. I mean, a significant difference in price.
Yeah, the 75-inch is like the sweet spot. It's not too big. Might be too big in my place, but you never know.
Yep. It depends how big. It depends how big the room is, right?
Very big.
Exactly. Very relative. Very relative.
Very relative. Yeah. But Dylan, we were talking off the air. We were like talking about our wives going through comments and stuff and looking at social media and whatnot. You had something to say about it.
Well, I had thought about this on this show. We don't really get the luxury of talking about things other than sports, or even the fun side of sports. I
wish we'd do more politics, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody does.
We have this clamoring for that,
and we need to use it in the right ways.
People are clamoring for the politics talk. But I always think of things that happen. We talk about the commenters. It would be great to sit here and talk about Jason Kelce getting a late show, but we don't have time to do any of that.
Who asked for that? Number one.
Who asked? We're too much Jason Kelce, but that's beside the point. You guys block people? You guys blockers?
No.
I've never blocked anybody.
No, but I'm not opposed to it.
I was going to say, we were talking about comments and, my wife reading comments that are left on our stuff. Some of the commenters are very mean. There have been commenters. What led me to think of this was I don't. So when people make comments, number one, if you say anything not about the take, block. You're gone. I don't care. If you say, personal insults, blocked. I don't care. And you can say it's soft. I am in complete control of my social media experience. And if you're going to insult.
Okay, but then you hate free speech.
No, I'm not asking for it to be taken off the internet. Just block. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see what you have no value to me. Now, funny comments, I won't block. So someone on X quote tweeted my wide receiver take from Indiana. And then after the Ohio State game, quote tweeted it, and I guess tried to take a victory lap, even though I called the game, and called me Lego Head. Well, Lego Head, I'm not going to block you for Lego Head. That's a funny chirp. Kroger
it's original.
Brand, yes. Kroger brand Peter Griffin, I won't block for that because that's funny. Those are funny. But if you just say, I don't know. I don't know. If you
a slur,
personal insult. Yes, personal insults that aren't funny, I will block you. Someone commented something derogatory about someone that wasn't me, but is related to me. And I logged into the KarterKast account and deleted the comment. That's what led this whole conversation pre-show.
Gotcha.
I'm well within my rights to do that, right?
Oh yeah, that's different.
Okay, all right.
That's
free
different.
Speech thing.
Yeah, that's very different. I agree.
Okay, but nobody blocks here.
No, I don't do it.
I will block if you comment a lot and it's just stupid stuff and you're just trying to troll a lot and it blows up my notifications. I'm like, I don't want to see this. I don't care what you're saying. Just stop.
What about mute?
I've muted. I've muted a lot.
Okay. I'm just not in the weeds like that as much.
Yeah.
It goes up and I just kind of let it be.
But it's a constant battle for me because it's I could very well because I've done it before, not read the comments and just go about my day. But I've also convinced myself that because we as a show are at where we're at, you need to be engaged with those people because then they're invested to come back, and I'm convinced it helps the algorithm. Like if there's more comments and stuff, so it's like I yearn for the day where we're above that.
Yeah, the other issue is I just don't have time to sit there and
That's
respond
true.
to so many comments. Like, I'll get DMs from people, and I try to respond to everything I can, but just don't have time to
Shout
respond
out
to
to you,
everything.
Dylan, for taking the hit. You're like the soldier protecting all of us. You really are.
Anyway,
Dylan takes a lot of flack, guys. Come on.
Yeah, but it's because he might have some terrible football
You
takes
do
that
invite
we'll
it.
get into.
You do invite
brother.
it. You do invite it.
Hey, how are Indiana's
invite it.
receivers doing, buddy? I'm surprised we
Yeah,
didn't
what was
talk about that on the college
50
football
total
show.
receiving yards? Yeah.
Wait, so now all of a sudden we're doing sample sizes of one now on this show.
Are you
sample
serious?
sizes
One-game
of one.
preview.
Oh, Dylan, we don't. The NFL show, guys. NFL show.
NFL show.
Before we start previewing some games and talking about stuff and whatnot, you had something else you wanted to bring up, Dylan.
Oh, well, we're going to preview these games, these Thanksgiving games, right? And looking at the slate, you have the Bears-Lions, which I think, since they fired Shane Waldron, is ending up to be a better matchup than what it was going to be 5 weeks ago or so. Still 10.5-point favorite. You have Tua and the Dolphins versus the Green Bay Packers, which again is a great matchup.
That's
Tua
a great
has been
matchup.
great since coming back from his concussion. We'll get into that. And then there's a lesser game sandwiched in between there. Giants at Cowboys. You have Cooper Rush, and then Daniel Jones was pretty much let go from the team. And
Banished.
that's Tommy DeVito. Yeah, banished from New York. And we have Tommy DeVito there. So it's like backup quarterback. And I watched the college basketball show with Cole Adams. Cole's a great guy. He slams on football a little too much for me on X. I'm not a fan of that. But grew up in the same area, 937, shout out.
The
Carter,
937.
This is an exact quote. What?
How many times has the 937 been in rap songs?
So I'm saying it needs to be more. And now
Maybe
I bet
Lecrae song.
937 has been in a lot of podcasts exclusively ran by white boys. if I had
That's
to
a safe
guess.
bet. That's a safe
Yeah,
bet.
that's a safe bet.
Carter, your exact quote. You were talking about some San Diego, San Jose tournament that you didn't even know the name
San Diego
of.
tournament. Yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that you didn't know the name of. And you
Still
said,
don't.
quote, "Am I supposed to watch Tommy DeVito play against Cooper Rush? No, I'm supposed to be watching
Igor Demon.
Igor Demon dice up some defenses."
Yes, exact quote.
Ben, I'll cut you slack, right? I've been on this show with you for 1 year. Carter, we're going on year 3. I don't want to hear a lick of anything about missing football in the summer. I don't want to hear anything about it, because if you're not going to sit down and watch this primetime Thanksgiving game, I don't care if it's Brett Favre quarterbacking against Steve Young at the age they're at right now.
That would be awesome. That would be better than what's happening on Thanksgiving.
And you'd still be sitting
Better
there
Mike
watching
Tyson
college basketball.
That would be the Mike Tyson fight.
It would be the Mike Tyson fight. I was listening to it and I was outraged.
What if it's well? The other thing is, that's part of my job is I have to watch that BYU game too.
It's part of your job to watch the NFL.
The other job,
Yeah.
yeah,
This job.
the actual job,
This
Paid a
job.
little bit more. Paid a little bit
yeah,
more.
well, other job pays a little bit more.
Okay, so you watch BYU. That's fine.
Guess what, Dylan? I'm
That's
gonna
it.
watch both. Is the thing, but I'm not
But
gonna
you
enjoy
say
the
that,
football
but-
game. I'm not gonna enjoy the football game. I'm gonna have both on. You act like I don't watch these games. Oh my goodness! Talk to anybody in my friends and family. They're like, "Please, Carter, please hang out with us." So I'm like, "No, I have to watch an
Spare us
Italian
some
throw
time,
three
Carter, please.
Yes, and I'm like, I have to watch an Italian throw 3 interceptions. I have to. It's part of my job. It's what I do.
It sounds a little disingenuous to the football watchers, the football show watchers, when you're like, "Oh, Igor Demon? What even is that?"
Oh,
Did you
the number 2
just
pick
smash
in next year's
let the
draft.
keys on
The
the
number
keyboard?
2 pick in next year's draft.
I don't know.
It's not the guy to
Who?
attack, Dylan.
Who?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
If you weren't with us during Tommy DeVito and Cooper Rush on Thanksgiving,
Also,
you can't be
timeout.
here with us during Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
Great
okay,
point,
That's the
Ben.
NFL equivalent of the if you're not here in November, don't bother coming to
2
March.
things.
Great.
One,
On the NFL equivalent.
2 things. One, I am going to watch this game, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
2,
We'll see.
I will. I'll send you a picture. I'll send a selfie of me watching this
We're
game.
gonna have a recap show.
Oh, we'll have a recap show.
Okay. All right.
We don't have a college basketball show coming out next week, so it's fine.
All right. Oh, so that would take precedent.
Depending on what day it comes out.
It
It depends on the days.
All right.
All right,
No,
Dylan.
it's fine. It's fine.
This guy. The other thing is, why are you cutting Ben slack? This dude's going to be sitting here front row watching BYU before this Cowboys-Giants game.
Ben gets slack because it's year one, right? Well, he's been on the college football show year one. This is year 3 for you, and then all of a sudden we're talking about Igor Demon, top draft. I don't care who this guy is. I don't care if it's Michael Jordan reincarnate. You get 18 weeks of NFL football, and you're going to throw one away because of
one whole week. I'm throwing one whole week.
I'm a naive rookie. You can't like.
No, that's not what I'm getting.
I'm kidding.
Jury's still out.
I'm kidding.
I'm just. I don't know.
I'm gonna watch both.
Just,
and guess what? We're gonna end up with a little anytime touchdown play together, Dylan, and we're gonna cash.
You've temporarily bought yourself time because you and I both swept our parlay picks, but that could change in an instant. That could change in an instant.
It's a fluid situation.
We're gonna do 2 parlays this week, and I'm telling you what, I think I go 0-2. But I'm reverse fading myself.
Unless it's a college basketball parlay, I wouldn't be surprised.
College basketball hasn't been going that well either. You know, I don't know. Anyhow, all right. Well, I think that's enough chit chat, huh, Dylan?
Yeah, that was a sufficient amount of chit chat.
That was yeah. I think that was a fair amount.
News and
chit-chat.
notes, some would say.
How you doing, Connor? What's going on?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to talk some ball.
This is a serious question because Ben, we haven't had you on this show around this time. Thanksgiving, underrated holiday in my opinion. What time Thanksgiving dinner? What's the game plan? We can be quick.
So it's an away game for me this year. So so you kind of have to roll with the punches a little bit, but at home traditionally it was the food's getting made in the morning, the turkey's being cooked during the Lions game. You watch the Lions game and then you eat after the Lions game ends. As a Lions
good thing
family.
for Ben historically can just turn the Lions game off at halftime. Except now they're good now, so
maybe he
I don't know about
for a
this.
different reason.
He might be having to turn off the game at halftime this week, though.
Oh,
I don't want to drag it out too long. Ben, away game. How many time zones?
0.
We're in the same time zone, but 2 time zones away from home.
Okay.
I've been at a neutral site for a while now.
Okay. All right. Florida, Georgia type thing. Okay.
do I get any credit for a doubleheader, lunch and dinner?
That's what I'm going doubleheader. We go doubleheaders.
Yep, I do.
When's the first one?
I think it's going to be 1 and 6:30, so not a lot of turnaround time. It's going to be brutal.
We're going 11 a.m., 7 p.m. with a 2-hour drive in between.
That's actually perfect.
And then
that's
back
a
to
good deal.
the original place for Black Friday.
And then a little bit you'll have some Tums in the car, right?
Oh, brother, there's no telling.
Wait,
my
Karter,
my
2-hour drive in between. How's Dylan going to watch these games?
It's called
Buddy.
It's called
On a tablet?
Wait a
Buddy,
second.
I'm not driving. I'm not driving.
That's
Abby's
what I
the
did.
driver.
I had to fly my father-in-law across the country just so I could watch games while I was going across country.
Commitment.
That's commitment.
That is commitment. Anyhow, Thanksgiving dinner for me, I don't know, dude. It's different it's whenever my mom cooks, and then I. And then, usually, I feel like it's during the 3rd, 4th quarter of the line. It's like noon, Mountain Time, because the Lions game I think comes on at like 10:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Yep, it's a 12:30 Eastern kick.
Yeah, so like 10:30 a.m. It's like 3rd, 4th quarter of the Lions game.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Anyhow, should we talk football?
Let's do it. That was fun.
I guess 15 minutes of chopping it up's enough.
I got it. I got like
we're going to
30.
look at the retention graph of this episode, and it's just going to be straight down.
Yep. And that's fine. You know what? Because I got about 30 minutes of Bill Walton stuff to do as a commemoration before we get into it. So, rest in peace. Anyhow, Bears-Lions. The Lions are a 10.5-point favorite on Thanksgiving. Dylan, I think we're aligned in this game. I think 10.5 points is too many points.
That's a lot of points for a divisional dog, away dog. And that's just a great spot to be in. Something I want to point out. There's no doubt here the Lions are the better team. And I don't want to get that misconstrued. But since firing Shane Waldron, this Bears offense has looked completely different. And I understand when I was going through this, the Week 12 stats for like time in the pocket, time to throw was not updated. But weeks 4 through 10, Caleb Williams' quickest time to throw on average was like 2.83. Week 11, it was 2.77, and I can only anticipate that it's going to be shorter in Week 12. Since firing Shane Waldron, the Bears have about 0.11 EPA per play. During Waldron's tenure, was negative 0.1. So, and we look at the teams they've played, like, I think that there is something here for the Bears to cling on to. And Caleb Williams hasn't looked bad. He didn't look bad yesterday. He didn't look bad last week. The Bears pass a lot, over 62% of the time, where the Lions are a lot more balanced. Both teams pressure the quarterback well. The difference is the Lions blitz 32% of the time. The Bears are only blitzing about 22%. And I don't think anybody's ever had a qualm with this Bears defense. They've been pretty good overall. It's been the offense that's been a problem. Williams' PFF rating improves 10 points when he's blitzed. Not under pressure, when he's blitzed. And I think we're seeing a simplified offense for Chicago. I touched on it in the preview against the Vikings. I do think we're going to see more of this. It's really hard for me to not take the Bears here with a touchdown and a field goal, getting it here. One thing I want to point out, Rome Odunze has been the sole benefactor of this new offense. He's gotten 10 targets per game since Shane Waldron has been fired. I would maybe look his way for a receiving prop. He's been the benefactor here. So that's what I would lean towards. I think the Bears keep it close. This is beautiful Thanksgiving football. Thanksgiving football.
I like the Bears here, too. I'm not going to repeat everything you just said. And also, I don't think you really touched on the Bears' defense.
Yeah.
It's not a bad defensive unit. And
the best red zone defense, allowing touchdowns on just over 40% of drives.
Now, let me ask this. Does Shabuzi doing the halftime show have anything to do with your pick in this game?
Is he pour me another shot of whiskey guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think it's as bad as the Jack Harlow of last year?
That was pretty. Or Dolly Parton. You remember Dolly Parton?
The Jack Harlow one was worse.
I feel like the Lions, specifically the Lions halftime shows during Thanksgiving are always hilariously atrocious. Like, just awful.
Well,
what if
you
they
got
just did
Eminem
like a
in your
Zoom?
backyard. Why don't you just reach out? Hey, come do a halftime show.
No, that's kind of tired. It's like BYU when they're like, let's bring in Jimmer Fredette for this event. It's like Eminem. You know, it's a little tired. They got to like mix it up.
Tired Eminem, Wired, that guy that does the Lions one again. What? Oh shoot! I sent it to you. The Tigers,
I forgot his name.
The Tigers
you're
won
talking
again.
About. Yeah.
They need to get the Colts need to get the one guy to start doing halftime shows. Seth.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Seth.
Yeah, for the shoe.
Oh,
for
yes.
Yeah. They need to start getting him for the halftime shows.
The ultimate plot twist would be he just like other teams just rent him out and he does videos and songs for everybody. Like, this is our Lions. This is our, and just all the other teams are like, hey Seth, we'll pay you a certain amount of money. We'll do this song for us.
Would you get mad at him for selling out?
Don't think you can.
Yeah, I would be pretty pissed if he did it.
Nope.
I'd be honest. You got to make your money. Connor, are you going with the Bears in this spot? Because I feel like what?
You know what? Normally, this is a lot of points. The Lions are 9-2 against the spread this year, and there have been some big spreads. They have been beating up on the inferior teams. Like, you look at their schedule, they dominated the Colts by 18, killed the Jaguars, beat the Packers by 10, killed the Titans, killed the Cowboys.
Hey,
they are beating these inferior teams by a lot of points.
You skipped over a game.
I skipped over a Jared Goff 5 interception game, which will not happen again.
Dome.
No, I'm on the Lions. I'm telling you guys, they're 9-2 against the spread, and the end all be all this year has been, if you don't know anything about the NFL week, just bet the Lions spread, and you're probably going to be okay. And I just think they're head and shoulders better than this Bears team. And yes, I will give the caveat, Caleb Williams has looked better since Shane Waldron was fired. The offense has looked better. We touched on it last week against Minnesota. We were all in Chicago last week. This is not the week for that. I think the Lions are beating up on these inferior teams, and they've been doing it week after week. And I don't think Thanksgiving is going to be any different, especially on a short week. I think a short week benefits the Lions. They just beat the Colts by 3 scores. I think this benefits the Lions. And I don't think 10.5 is too many. I think the Bears have been playing better, but they're still miles below this Lions team.
I still think 10.5 is too many points, but you could be right. Who knows? Ben, what's your
I will
take?
not trust Caleb Williams. Can't do it.
Whoa. He just threw for 2 touchdowns and 300-plus yards against one of the best defenses in the league.
When's their last win?
Okay, all right.
Just win games, Dylan.
Yeah.
Just win games, I guess.
Ben, are you on Lions or Bears in the spot?
Bears plus 10.5 is the play.
Oh,
unfortunately.
Oh, here we go.
Someone's got some Jordan Love PTSD from last Thanksgiving. That turkey's tasted a little sour, huh?
No, I've been burned on Thanksgiving a lot of times. No, but I do think there's a spot on a short week. There's a few injuries for the Lions. I don't think that will affect many of the guys who got banged up playing on Thursday, but I do think they're going to be not 100%. We have Taylor Decker, who's the left tackle. We have Khalif Raymond, who's the punt returner, wide receiver 4. He was injured. He's going to be out. David Montgomery got beat up. CB1, Carlton Davis got beat up. I anticipate outside of Khalif Raymond, all those guys are going to play, but I do think they're beat up. I do think that without Shane Waldron, this Bears team is playing much better. I think Caleb Williams is able to see some success because he's been playing a lot better in the last few weeks. I would kind of like the Bears money line with the problem being I can't pick the Bears money line just because Dan Campbell's the coach of one team and Matt Eberflus is the coach of another. I mean, we watched situationally, although Caleb Williams has been better, situationally I don't trust him yet. Taking that sack after having a lot of time in overtime yesterday, plus the delay of game, that was a Caleb Williams, Matt Eberflus masterclass on how to lose a game in overtime. We talk about not trying to get more yards and Cairo Santos getting a blocked field goal. I do think that allows for the Lions to win this game is something like that if it is close at the end. I also see zero way in which the Bears are able to have success on the ground against the Lions. We're talking about DeAndre Swift versus a Lions rush defense. That is very strong. Lions rush defense that is one of the best in the NFL and has been for the last couple of years.
Yeah, revenge game.
Ooh.
DeAndre Swift.
The DeAndre Swift revenge game?
Yep.
It's a fair point.
But it's kind of a Lions revenge game. They lost their last game against the Bears. But I also definitely do have PTSD. The Bears play us. Remember when I was at your place, Carter, and the Lions miraculously beat the Bears at home like last year? Aiden Hutchinson punted the ball into the stands. They were. That was a game that the Lions had no business winning. They then lost. I think that was a Justin Fields thing. Last year, they just couldn't deal with running quarterbacks. I think that's changed. But I do think this is a beat-up Lions team that's due to kind of put up a stinker a little bit. I like them to win still just because I trust them situationally over the Bears. But it wouldn't shock me if it's close. I'm going to say 27-24 Lions.
When the Lions win, though, they win big. We've seen it. Against worse teams, they win big. They win by double digits. Chicago's bottom 8 in the league in explosive plays given up, and they allow, 5.7 yards per play? The Lions have these explosive guys. They will run and pass all over this Bears defense. I know they've been okay. The Lions are a step above what the Bears have been playing.
For sure.
No, I agree.
But that's unfortunate that you can't say that because then no team would ever upset someone if that's the case.
That's true.
The Lions also had a very early bye. I think it's like they've been rolling. I do think that they're due for a subpar performance against an inferior team. And I unfortunately, just my sick and twisted mind thinks that'll be on Thanksgiving when everyone's watching.
Connor. Who are you comparing this Bears team to? Are you saying they're the Colts and the Jaguars, or are you saying they're more like the Vikings and the Cardinals?
That's tough.
Ooh.
I mean, it's kind of right in the middle.
Yeah, because this defense is, 3,000 times better than the Colts or the Jaguars. But I wouldn't put the Bears on the same tier as the Vikings and the Cardinals, even though, the Bears and the Vikings played a close game. I think the Vikings were still clearly the better team in that game.
Look, I really don't want to take anything away from Caleb Williams. He's been playing so much better. He played great on Sunday. They really shouldn't have even had a chance to win that game at the end, and he brought them back and had some big throws to give them a chance to win. Overtime a little rough, but he gave them a chance to win. I just think against the Lions, the talent wins out. I really do. I think the Lions are just head and shoulders better in Chicago, and they've been beating teams. They have been beating them like a drum.
Last thing then. Who was the last 10.5 point favorite you liked?
Ooh.
What?
Divisional game too.
The Commanders?
Please.
Another
Commanders?
divisional game.
That team was head and shoulders above the Cowboys.
Yeah,
True.
but I've also been out on the Commanders at certain points this year. I've yet to be out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We should have. You know what? We should have stuck to our guns on the Commanders takes, guys.
Oh, I'm so mad. I'm so mad we didn't just go full head of steam.
I know we got bullied out of it.
We did get bullied out of that one. I was upset. We were just 2 weeks. We were 2 weeks too early on that take. Just the stupid Browns. The Browns just boned us.
Aren't you guys happy I'm taking the Lions here? We can't be the College Game Day graphic here. Come on.
We've been good as the College Game Day graphic.
We have.
I think, are we undefeated as a College Game Day graphic?
Here's the one place that we weren't good on the College Game Day graphic. It was picking the Packers against the Lions in Lambeau.
Yeah, but did you believe that the Packers were going to win, or were you reverse jinxing yourself, Ben?
I just pick against us when we play against NFC North teams or teams I don't like.
Is there a world? Are you guys only picking the Bears here because you just want a good game? You want Thanksgiving football not to suck, and you want this to be a close game. There's
Carter, I don't want this to be a close game.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, but your reasoning would be reverse jinxing. Dylan and I's would be. I think that's an excellent question, Connor. Very, very fair, but not true. I just think the defense is too good to keep this within 10 points. Is my thing.
But
it doesn't matter. Carter's not going to be watching, so
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Carter's not going to be watching this game.
I'm kidding. No, but I do think this is a spot in which you're getting maybe a little bit of a beat up Lions team where the Bears strike early, Lions win, but you go, ooh. Like, I think it's kind of that spot for me. It's not the Bears have turned this massive corner and they're a fantastic team. I think it's just the Lions kind of coming down to earth a little bit and still it resulting in a win. But man, yeah, the Bears are kind of due. I don't think they win here, but
that Hail Mary cursed
they've been knocking on the door. They've been knocking.
Hail Mary cursed them.
Let's move on. We spent too much time on that game. Giants, Cowboys. Cowboys -4, over under 37.5. We'll be very quick on this one. This game stinks. I will be watching this one despite collusion and allegations on this podcast saying I won't, but I will be watching. Doesn't matter. Dylan, how do you handicap this game?
I'm going to push back on you watching this game real quick. I might not. Don't take this the wrong way. I might be messaging Justine on Instagram and making sure, like, getting some pictures or something of you watching this game.
Pause.
Hey, Justine, I'm just saying I'm going to tell Justine. I say, hey, wait, we need to make sure your husband's committed to the cause. I need a picture of Karter watching this game. I need a picture. No, I need a picture of Karter right now.
Okay, that's fair, and you can get me at any time. That's fair.
Yeah.
Except bathroom. If I have to go to the bathroom because it's Thanksgiving, you're going to need to use the bathroom.
No, I'm not going to go there. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bathroom.
Okay, but does it have to be on the TV, or can it be on a tablet?
I need your eyes on the game. I don't care.
Okay, tablet. Okay, fine, iPad.
There's nothing better than watching a football game on Thanksgiving on your grandma's little 12-inch box TV that's this thick in the back.
I'm not at grandma's house.
Okay. You're in Park City. I forgot.
Yeah, I'm living up this Thanksgiving. You got a nice 65-inch TV with a hot tub and snow in the background.
I'll be quick here. I've given you all the gruff that I want to give.
Thank you.
Both teams are allowing the fourth most rushing yards to quarterbacks. They're in the top 4. That's what I mean. So they're both in the top 4 in rushing yards allowed to quarterbacks. They allow the 5th most rushing touchdowns to quarterbacks. Both teams, I think this benefits Tommy DeVito. The only play I'm going here is because I don't want to sit here and talk about how can you analyze these teams using stats from the whole year when they have backup quarterbacks. I'm going Tommy DeVito anytime touchdown, a little revenge for the Baker Mayfield celebration last week, even though they're not playing the Bucs. I think he's got a fire under him, and the Cowboys have been awful against quarterbacks moving in the pocket. So going that, Tommy DeVito anytime touchdown.
And a bit of a letdown spot here. And Dylan, you brought up the DeVito touchdown before we hit the record button. And I was so jealous. You came up with that because I love that pick. I hope we can get it like 6-1 because I'm 100% riding that pick. I like the Giants here with the points, I think. And I think this is a slight letdown spot with the Cowboys, but I would never take it.
It almost seems like fade the public. they saw the Cowboys upset the Commanders. Like, oh, of course I'm going to take the Cowboys as a 3.5-point favorite against the Giants, who scored 1 touchdown last week. And it almost seems like that is so easy, it makes you want to go on the other side. I understand that's big brain analysis.
Yeah, that is big brain. I mean, this is the elite stuff here. Connor, do you agree with that analysis?
I do. Give me Tommy Cutlets from the points. Give me the +4. Tommy Cutlets on Thanksgiving. Got a week under his belt starting this year. Cowboys defense, you can put lipstick on a pig all you want to. They've been horrible this year against the pass. I think big letdown spot coming off that big win against the Commanders, which I was completely wrong on. Hand up on that. Way off on that. They're riding high. Can't do it. Can't trust Cooper Rush. Give me Tommy DeVito in the points, +4. I think this is going to be a Giants Thanksgiving W on Thursday.
I love it. Ben, quickly, where are we going?
Yep, Giants money line's the play here. If the Cowboys had lost this game to the Commanders, I think I would just say, oh, Cowboys win, ugly game, by like a field goal or a touchdown. With that being said, I do like the Giants here. I think potentially I'm hoping it comes on a Tommy DeVito, like 2-minute drive at the end of the game to win it. I think that's what America needs. America needs Tommy and Italy. Both of those countries need Tommy DeVito to lead a 2-minute drive to give the Giants a win in Jerry World. Book it, Giants money line.
I love it. Dylan?
Will they have curtains up?
No, I don't think they
probably
care.
not.
Yeah, I'm thinking curtains.
I think they might like open up the roof more to try and get more sun to have Cooper Rush to start losing some games so we can get Coach Prime and Shadur in there.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's big brain analysis. Or just that hat Connor's wearing right now. That's the analysis.
Yeah. Big media.
Coming up next.
Cowboys. Dolphins,
is there a
Packers.
world for the Cowboys to make the NFC? It's coming up next.
Can the Cowboys go undefeated the rest of the way? Up next.
Should Cooper Rush start over Dak Prescott next year?
That we can talk about that. No. Anyhow, Dolphins, Packers. So I got nervous real quick for all the old heads out there. I thought this was a Peacock game only at first. I was like, oh crap, Peacock game only, brutal for some folks. It's not.
Yeah.
We got NBC.
Answering your grandpa asking, oh, how do we watch the game? How do we watch the game? It's all
And they
Peacock, Papu.
And then they think you're a genius when you hook up the Peacock.
Oh, yeah.
And-
You know what
They're
you're
like,
doing,
cool.
son.
They're like, dang, man, like, how much are you making these days?
Yeah.
Brother, if you knew. Anyhow.
You only knew.
Dolphins, Packers. Packers -3, over under 47.5. Games at Lambeau. Dylan, does this game being at Lambeau and a game played in the 20-degree weather in Wisconsin hurt the Dolphins? Because we saw what happened at the Chiefs in the playoffs last year. I think a lot of people are going to pinpoint saying this is a soft, candy, whatever football team.
Candy, whatever. Yeah. You know how
candy
to finish
football
that.
team
Yeah, candy
that
football
can't play in the cold.
So I would normally agree with that. First counterpoint, it's going to be 35 and sunny. So it's about the 20s.
28.
You might want to check your weather app.
Where are we looking at? What weather app?
I
do
don't
you
even
use?
remember. I checked it this morning. It might have changed. Tua has actually already addressed this, and he said that that's the narrative or whatever. He can't wait to prove them wrong. So have you thought about the fact that Tua's already addressed this, and maybe it's not going to be as big of a deal as the media has made it out to be?
Well, that's also why I asked that question because, I like the Dolphins in this spot.
Well, let me give you a pro Dolphins stat. I'll give you I got pro Dolphins. I got pro Packers. Pro Dolphins. Tua since returning on October 27th from his concussion. 5 games, almost 1,300 passing yards, nearly a 79% completion percentage, 11 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, over 0.35 EPA per play. How does that sound to you, Carter?
That sounds pretty good to me.
Sounds Pro Bowl quarterback right there.
What was that?
Pro Bowl?
Oh, Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl.
Okay. Pro
Bowl.
Bowl. Okay.
I heard
That
Pro
was-
Bowl
I was
and Pro
being mean
Bono.
there. I thought you were trying to make a joke or something. Okay.
Well, maybe you can cut that out. Yeah, sorry.
No, I didn't. Pro
This show's
Packers.
going off the
You want
rails.
some pro Packers?
Sure. You can pander
sure.
a little bit, flip flop.
I'll pander a little bit. I'll give everybody the opportunity here. This isn't going to sound pro Packers at first. Jordan Love, one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL when blitzed. However, Miami only blitzes 20% of the time, and Miami is one of the worst teams in converting quarterback pressures to sacks. Only 15% of the time. It's the 3rd lowest pressure to sack rate in the NFL. Love has only taken a sack on 11% of pressures. That's the 6th lowest in the NFL. Now, here's what I'm looking at. Love throws down. I'm going to refer to deep passes. That's passes of 20-plus air yards. So Love throws downfield deep passes at the second highest rate in the NFL. He's 17 for 43, 640 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The Dolphins have allowed the 6th highest completion percentage and the 3rd highest passer rating on deep passes. Now, this is where we get into the weeds. Who is the beneficiary in terms of wide receivers on the Packers roster of these deep passes? Jaden Reed, 8 for 9, 344 yards on deep passes. I think he'll be the main benefactor. But this is where we get a little fun. Nighttime Thanksgiving, I'm going to be at the in-laws. I'm going to have to ask to put this game on the TV.
Pretty please?
Pretty please. I'm going to have to be on my best behavior to get this. Christian Watson, over 33% of his targets are deep passes, passes over 20 air yards. Where I'm going for this game, it's not a side, it's not a total. It's too volatile because of the deep passes. I'm thinking Christian Watson receptions under, receiving yards over parlay.
Ooh,
that's
negative,
get that
negative correlation parlay.
Negative correlation boost. So that's where I'm going here, because when he is targeted, like I said, over 33% of his targets are on the deep ball, and that's where I'm going here. If I had to pick a side, I would lean Dolphins.
And I don't have the number, but I know his snap count's been going down the last few weeks. He has not been on the field a ton. He had that drop touchdown literally this past weekend. So I know he's not going to be on the field for 90% of the snaps like he was, start of the year.
Where are you going, Connor?
This is tough because Tua has been so much better since he came back.
Really good.
I lean Dolphins here. And that's scary to say because it's in Lambeau. Packers coming off a big, huge win against the 49ers. Huge. I lean Dolphins here. I like the over. 47.5. I think there's going to be some points scored in this game. I really do. I think it's going to be a tight one. I think it's going to be a great way to end Thanksgiving. I lean Dolphins to cover, and I like the over. That's the analysis.
And 2 things about this game as well when you look at it from a broader, looking forward for this. The Dolphins are only one spot out of the AFC playoff race. They're currently 8th in the AFC playoff race. This is not done and dusted at all. They've got
they're still playing.
They got the Broncos, Ravens, and Chargers ahead of them. They don't have much room for margin for error, but that means they're playing a little harder. And you look at the Packers, they're coming off a blowout win against the San Francisco 49ers. It was the Fox game of the week. But the issue is with the Packers is, can they go up much higher? The best they could probably finish is the 5 seed in the NFC.
They got the Lions next week.
Yeah.
And if the Lions win that week, they essentially clinch this division. It's basically over unless the Vikings somehow just keep putting together wins, which I don't know how that keeps happening, but it does. I like the Dolphins here. I think you're right, Connor. I'm not going to take the Dolphins, but points. It's points every which way. Everyone's going to overreact and be like, oh, it might be a little snowy. Oh, there's cold weather. Dylan, I checked it out. It is 28 degrees, and the high is 33 on Thanksgiving in Green Bay. It's going to be cold, but that's overrated. People look back on that Chiefs game last year with the Dolphins and think, oh, the Dolphins team, they can't play in the cold weather. No one could have played in that game. It was dangerous. It was like minus 50 degrees.
Beers were freezing over. You remember that?
Yes.
Beers were freezing out of their can.
Yes. So I love the over here. I feel like you can take any receiver in this game for anytime touchdown, fun prop. I think it's a great game. It's going to be a fun nighttime game. Give me the over. Ben, where are we going?
I like the Dolphins here as well. But I really like them. The one thing that gives me pause is playing at Lambeau with the weather being cold. But if there's precipitation, I might be a little more concerned, but sounds like there's not. Sounds like it'll be relatively clear. I do think this is a game in which the Dolphins win. And once they win, we go, oh, like they could sneak in the playoffs. Like this is a real thing that they can do. I also think like if you just look at the Packers, they've been skating by, but this isn't a team that's been playing great lately. They've got the big win, like the 28-point win against. Yeah, they could have lost to the Bears.
And
they
Jags.
lost the Lions. They beat Houston at home by 2, which seemed good at the time. That doesn't really age all that great either. A 3-point win against the Jags as well mixed in there. And then a massive win against the 49ers that had no Brock Purdy. That's a whole different thing, but the 49ers feel like they're on life support right now. But yeah, no, I like the Dolphins. I think the Packers have kind of play better than I think they really are to this stage. I like the Dolphins here. I think they get back in it.
And Tua's peaking at the right time. Since he came back from injury, 11-1 touchdown interception ratio. I know the defenses haven't been great, but I think it matters that he has been playing well and he's found a groove in this offense. The one thing I'm curious to see, Tyreek Hill has not had one of those signature games in a while. Since Tua's been back, Tyreek Hill has not been very involved. I think that could change against this Packers secondary. I think there could be a lot of Tyreek Hill this week.
I love it. Dylan, let me pose this question for you and we'll move on.
Okay.
Who's a faker team, the Packers or the Vikings?
Vikings, 100%.
Really?
Just
Talk
because
to me.
For me, it's the turnover margin. And I think the Vikings defense is very good. But I think this is really tough to say, but I would trust Jordan Love to take care of the ball more than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's turnover issues, that's not a new thing. That was a thing at USC when he was there. And that's just ultimately what that comes down to. The Vikings defense is very good. You can't trust the defense to force 2 or 3 turnovers a game.
I would slightly trust the Vikings more, but I understand your reasoning there. I just think the Packers have been barely getting by in these games too. And on this show, we've been giving the Vikings a lot of crap for barely getting by and just barely winning games, but we necessarily haven't done it with the Packers as much. We just kind of give them a little more credit for some reason.
That's very true.
All right. I love
There's
it.
a world the Packers go 1-2 over the next 3 games. Dolphins, Lions, Seahawks. Not nothing.
Yeah, but I think they've solidified their playoff spot. The Commanders are in that weird spot where it's like, all right, they might be they might be missing the playoffs if we're going to be honest. But they have an easy schedule. But we're not talking about the Commanders right now. Raiders, Chiefs, Black Friday, a 3 p.m. Eastern kickoff at Arrowhead. We saw this game on Christmas last year. Dylan, the Raiders outright. How awesome was that?
I wasn't going to bring it up. I'll bring it up.
You deserve it. That was a great pick. Elite pick.
But I own the Chiefs. And number one rule of the show, what is it? Someone want to chime in?
Connor?
I think it's fade the Chiefs when they're more than a 3-point favorite.
And what did we do last week against the Panthers?
Fade the Chiefs. Let's take a Bryce Young victory lap real quick.
Yeah, we kept
big
pounding.
Big throws.
Dylan, how does it feel that the 2 best quarterbacks in this league play in Carolina and Tennessee right now?
I don't want to be that guy. Our quarterbacks did it outside. Not all quarterbacks can say that.
Not all quarterbacks can say they did it outside against the Chiefs.
Just saying, it looked great. I was really hoping that you guys would beat the Chiefs. I like preying on your guys' downfall just for the fun of it, but I was hoping you guys beat the Chiefs. I want that on record.
Thank you. That means a lot, Dylan.
I want that on record.
Well, you also had the Panthers money line. Did you?
No, just 11.5. Raiders, Chiefs, here's what it comes down to. I would love, the number one rule of the show, we touched on it. I would love to be able to fade the Chiefs as a field goal or more favorite. Can't do it with Desmond Ridder or Aiden O'Connell at quarterback. So what I am going to do, and I'll keep this short and sweet, both these teams are awful defending against the tight end position. Both allowed, they're either 6th or worse in allowing the most fantasy points to tight ends. Travis Kelce, I understand this year has been rough for him. Not getting as much of the workload. Noah Gray had 2 touchdowns yesterday. But Kelce has had at least 7 targets against Las Vegas going back to 22. This year in their first matchup, he had 10 receptions for 90 yards. I'm thinking maybe Kelce overs. Just seems like what fits in here. That's where I'm going to go. I'm not going to take a side with a backup quarterback for Las Vegas.
And tight ends have success against the Chiefs too. I think you could get a little action into Brock Bowers as well. JT Sanders came out of the game with the Panthers-Chiefs game yesterday, but he had 3 receptions for 49 yards in just 1/2 of football. So their tight ends are successful against this Chiefs team. I think Brock Bowers has a big game as well. I will not take the Chiefs when they are a 13.5-point favorite. They very well could cover, but I absolutely refuse to do that. I will not. I lean Raiders here in a 10-point game, but give me Brock Bowers and Travis Kelce props as well, Connor.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. If you want to go back, if anybody wants to go back and watch the KarterKast archives from last year, the Desmond Ridder hate was at an all-time high, and for good reason. Yeah. We talked about number one rule: don't take the Chiefs as a huge favorite. Fine, you could not pay me to bet on Desmond Ridder, or really Aiden O'Connell either, but definitely Desmond Ridder.
Not a big AOC guy.
Not a big
No.
AFC guy.
Okay, all right, just
not a
confirming.
big AFC
Just
guy,
confirming.
yeah.
Okay.
put it on quote
I think you're
guard.
right. Funny enough, Dylan, you asked us to bring props to the show. I was going to say Brock Bowers anything, honestly.
Yep.
He's been getting an absurd amount of targets recently. Desmond Ridder was still targeting him late in the game when he came in last week. Aiden O'Connell loves him. I think this is going to be a game where the Raiders probably cover on a late garbage time touchdown because the Chiefs they're up 21 and they don't care. But I'm not touching the spread. I'll tell you that. I think Chiefs win. I think it's a boring game. And yeah, give me Brock Bowers props.
27-14 final. You heard it here first.
I like the sound of that.
Ben, quickly, Chiefs Raiders. Where are we going?
I'll say 24-14 Chiefs. I think the Raiders keep this a little closer just because it's just the rule of the show. So I have to go along with it.
There we go.
The Chiefs aren't showing that they're going to blow out bottom tier NFL teams either at this point. So there's no reason to go against it.
I love it. We've got Chargers Falcons in Atlanta, Georgia. The Chargers are a 1.5 point favorite on the road. This Falcons team has been just pooping the bed recently, just crumbling left and right. Dylan, are you worried about G. Kirko?
I'm not as worried about G. Kirko as I am the defense for the Falcons. I mean, this is a defense that's really bad. 28th in quick passing, 29th passing versus the blitz on defense. Like there are things here that are huge defensive issues. It's really rough right now for this defense. Now, I want to pose a question. I don't really have a feel for the side yet. How many touchdowns have the Chargers allowed to running backs this year?
Off the top of my head?
Off the top of your head, how many? Receiving,
4.
rushing, how many times has a running back crossed into the end zone against the Chargers?
4.
9.
Ben, you have a guess?
I'm not sure. I don't even have a guess.
2. They've allowed
That
2.
That's close.
One rushing, one receiving. That was a great guess, Connor. If I had to take anything in this game, I'm probably going to go, if I could get a no price on Bijan Robinson to score a touchdown, I'm sure that's the yes is going to be like minus 160. That's probably what I would lean towards. But yeah, as far as this game goes, the Falcons do have an advantage in the deep passing game. The Chargers don't defend very well against that, but that's really the only spot I can make a case for the Falcons. I want to wait and see what happens on Monday Night Football for the Chargers.
Are you putting any credence into the Falcons coming off a bye?
Rest advantage, I'm a sucker for it, but this defense,
Chargers traveling multiple time zones.
Playing on Monday.
But Kirk's not walking into the trap and taking over your trap. Some are saying that away games for the Falcons are the new home games.
No, but then they got destroyed by the Broncos.
Yeah, well, that's different.
And the
that's
Saints.
different.
Look, the Broncos have been good this year, but giving up 38 to Bo Nix in that offense, that is just, I think, inexcusable.
What
Because
about
the Broncos? The Broncos aren't trying to beat you that way. They're trying to win like 24-17.
Yeah.
I think
They're not looking to score a bunch of points, but they just could. They just took it. So.
We're also glossing over they lost to the Saints, the booty cheek Saints.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. And also,
game.
Dylan, I texted you about 2 weeks ago. I said, guys, we should be looking at the Buccaneers plus 400 for this division. That
Still
is
not
very
buying
much alive.
It's alive, sure. But you lost both your games against the Falcons. Yeah, you're kind of up a creek there if you're the Bucs.
You're looking at the Falcons schedule going forward. You got Chargers, Vikings, Commanders. Panthers is not a gimme whatsoever.
Oh, sure, divisional game. We talk about this. That's the same reason why I don't worry about the loss to the Saints. It's a divisional game. It happens.
All right. Connor,
give me Bijan under props. Give me no touchdown. That's what I'm going with this game.
Connor, do you have any feel for this game?
This is tough because I want to see what happens. We're recording on Monday, the Chargers-Ravens tonight. I want to see what happens in that game. There's a part of me that wants to take the Falcons just because everybody's out on them. And I know there is playmakers on that offense. Kirk has shown he can have good games this year. He's not been a complete dud. Chargers defense, they run the ball well. It's tough. I almost want to take the Falcons solely because everyone's out on them. Yep. I think the Chargers might be riding a little high. If the Chargers do somehow upset the Ravens tonight, then I think I will be taking the Falcons for sure.
I love it. Ben?
I think it definitely depends. Again, just echoing the sentiment that tonight definitely matters and where I'm leaning. But as of right now, like a not like a get right spot, but a bounce back spot off of a bye against a Chargers team that'll be on a slightly shorter week. That makes me liking the Falcons in this spot. especially if the Chargers win tonight. If the Chargers lose tonight, I think that might change things a little bit, but I still think I'd lean Falcons. I do think the Falcons, although their defense has struggled, as we've talked about, I'm not sure if the Chargers offense at this point is explosive enough to fully break things open. I also like the advantage that the Falcons have with Kirk Cousins being able to air it out deep a little bit.
Joe Burrow diced up that Chargers defense, by the way. Shout out Dylan.
What? What?
Yeah.
Hold this
there's
out.
some crossfire here.
Sorry about that. Stray.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. But I lean Falcons just because I think they've been down. They're not this bad. Chargers, they're pretty good. But they're not this good. So I lean Falcons.
I lean Falcons as well. I mean, yeah, coming off 2 losses, it's now or never for the Falcons. Rest advantage as well. I think Chargers win time of possession, but I think this is a game where Drake London goes off. I think Drake London has a big game against the Chargers in this one as well. Let's move on. Steelers-Bengals. The Bengals are a 3-point favorite in Cincinnati. Steelers, rest advantage, coming off a loss at Cleveland, the Snow Globe game. Dylan, are we still sussy for Russie, or are we losing a little bit of our sussiness for Russie?
No, I'm still the same amount of sussy for Russie. This is a Super Bowl caliber team. Now, I'm going to lose. I'm going to get clowned for this next statement. But ultimately, this game comes down to, can the Bengals outscore the Steelers? Like, can the Bengals defense has been so bad. What? Well, okay, you say yes, but let's talk about this matchup. Cam Taylor-Britt versus the deep ball. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception on 15 snaps. You throw Pickens up against Cam Taylor-Britt, who's stopping the deep ball? It's just Pickens all night.
And what does Russ love to do? Just chuck it up 50-50 balls and let Pickens make a play. It's either PI or he catches it.
Now, we have to handicap for the fact that Pickens could very well get thrown out of this game in the first quarter because the guy has absolutely no self-awareness. The guy can't – he has no
spot on your team? Would he have a spot on your team?
Absolutely not.
There you go.
He has no self-regulation.
Would Adam Thielen have a spot on your team?
He gets a little too fired up for me too sometimes, especially in his Minnesota days. Minnesota days, not great. Listen, that's what it comes down to, though. Can the Bengals just keep up with the Steelers? And I understand that sounds crazy to say. I don't know if the Bengals, we saw that they were able to expose the Chargers, go over the top immensely on the deep balls. I don't know if they're going to have time to let the plays develop against this front four for the Steelers. And I think if the Bengals are going to want to get it done, they're not going to be able to run the ball. The Steelers have one of the best rush defenses. I think they're going to want to dink and dunk their way down. Quick passes, short passes are where the Bengals have the advantage here. I don't see a world where they're going to be able to let longer plays develop down the field. Under.
Why are the
As
Steelers
gross as it is under?
But why are the Steelers a 3-point dog here, Dylan? Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, I really think if you look at the last 3 games, Pittsburgh is 3rd worst in yards per play. I really think it's people being like, they can't even trust the Steelers offense against the Bengals defense. As susceptible as the Bengals defense has been, what have we seen from Russell Wilson in the last few weeks to make you have any confidence in this offense to put up points? Like the game against the Browns, they what 19 points. It was snowing. I'll give them that. Tough divisional game. They didn't score a touchdown against Baltimore. Defense won them that game. Red zone offense was horrible. Joe Burrow has been dicing teams up. Just diced up the Chargers defense, which has looked pretty good all year. I think the line is indicating Joe Burrow is going to have success in this game.
I agree with that. I want to push back a little bit on the Russell Wilson success part. I think most of that has to do with the offensive line. Because if you watch that Ravens game, they were getting to him quick. He loves the deep ball. There was no time for those plays to develop down the field. And in this matchup specifically, it's the I gotta do some thinking here. The left side of the Steelers' offensive line, that's arguably the better side, and that's going to be the side that's tasked with handling Hendrickson. So I like that matchup there where it comes to giving Russ time. But Karter, exactly what you said. The Bengals are a 2.5-point favorite here. That would insinuate they're evenly ranked on a neutral field, and I think that's
one team's
probably
4-7, the other's 8-3.
Look,
yeah.
Look,
That's tough.
A stat that stood out to me when I was prepping for this game: NFL team red zone scoring percentage, touchdown only. Cincinnati's third in the NFL. They score a touchdown in the red zone almost 70% of times. Pittsburgh's third to last. Less than 45% of times they score a touchdown in the red zone. I really think it could come down to that, where it's like, all right, the Steelers move the ball down the field. Maybe Pickens gets a long catch, PI. They can't punch it in from the 25-yard line. Joe Burrow will be able to do that.
Wait, you're saying Najee Harris isn't an elite running back?
That's, that might be a caveat to what I'm saying. There might be like collateral damage to what I'm saying, sure. But I don't know. I think Joe Burrow's been riding high, and the Bengals, this is stupid analysis, they've been getting unlucky. If Joe Burrow's putting up these numbers and that offense is putting up these numbers, they should have more wins. They should have won more games.
They should have won more games, but the defense is so bad, and that's what.
But that's what I'm saying. Defense is horrible. Steelers' offense is even worse, I think, recently, especially in the red zone.
Do you think? I don't think so. That's my argument in this game. Is I think the Bengals' defense is so bad that I just think. I just can't trust the Bengals.
What's
defense.
that line telling you though, Carter? Steelers being almost 3-point dogs, 8-3.
I know.
What's that line telling you?
The line is telling me bet the Bengals, but I'm not going to take a side in this one. I would take Steelers, and I'm picking the Steelers to win this game outright. I just think this Bengals defense gets destroyed. I think Pickens.
So is this the fork in the Bengals season?
Yes, this officially ends their season.
This buries them. Okay.
Because they can't lose another game going out. Even if they won out, I don't think they make the playoffs. Because you look at a team like Miami, you look at a team like the Chargers, who already have the head-to-head over the Bengals. That's who they're going against.
Broncos.
The Broncos, which is so crazy to think about.
Ridiculous.
Broncos team. But give me the Steelers barely. Ben, where are you going?
I'm going to go Bengals here. I say they win by 4 points. I just look at games recently. I do think that the Steelers, they've been really close in their last couple of wins with their win over the Ravens and Commanders. That was a total of 3 points, point differential in those two wins. Whereas the Bengals have had a couple of close losses recently in the back-to-back weeks. The 1 point loss against the Ravens, a 7 point loss to the Chargers. I think this is buying back in a little bit with the Bengals. I think it's a regression to the mean a little bit. I don't think the Steelers are truly 4 games better than this Bengals team. You get the Bengals at home. You get Joe Burrow, who's been playing really well, but they've just short. Defense obviously isn't great. I'm not going to pretend it is, but I'm not sure if the Steelers are fully going to make them pay. It makes me like the Bengals. With the points, it's a little dicey to win more than what was it? Was it 2.5 or 3.5?
It's 2.5 right now. It's still below the 3.
Okay, I like 2.5. 3.5, it gets a little dicey. I like the Bengals by a field goal here.
Eagles Ravens afternoon, the 4:25 kickoff on CBS. This game's in Baltimore. So, interesting thing that was brought to my attention from Mark and Philly. Shout out Mark and Philly, friend of the program. The Eagles
are we going to ignore the fact that he's cursed the parlay 2 weeks in a row?
Oh man.
Did he curse it because did multiple plays lose in that one? Was the Falcons?
He said I knew ball, and it was apparent that I did not know ball. Unfortunately,
kiss of death.
Yeah, maybe it is the kiss of death. Anyhow, friend of the program. The Eagles don't have to fly to another game. Likely until
I saw that
potentially the NFC title game.
Is there a little collusion there between Goodell and the Eagles?
Yeah, I don't know, but you bust down to Baltimore, bust down to Landover, Maryland, and then the rest of the games are at home. That's a big advantage for the Eagles ending up this season. It's the Ravens, it's the Eagles. We saw the Eagles last night take care of the Rams.
Yep.
Connor, our resident Eagles fan.
Yeah.
This guy.
Fly Eagles fly.
Fly Eagles fly. Well, I don't have a number on this game. It's not showing up for me. I was
2.5 Ravens.
It's 2.5 Ravens.
15.5.
This is tough because the Eagles have been on fire lately. The defense has been on another level. They dominated the Rams last night on Sunday Night Football.
Yes, they did.
And you look at it, on the season, the Eagles are number 1 in opponent yards per game. Last 3 games, they're second behind only Detroit, who's been killing teams.
Wait. Before you keep going, I hear a little beeping in the background. Are you backing up your take? I'm not backing up the take.
I'm hesitant to come out and back the Eagles here. I've been on them. I was on them last night. I was on them last week. This might be a slip-up spot for them. I hate to say it.
I think the line tells you what you need to know in this game. I think it's
I think so too.
I think the Ravens being favored in this spot. They've been a little shaky and whatnot. 7-4 versus 9-2. Eagles flying high right now. Give me the Ravens in this spot.
Baltimore's allowing less than 80 rush yards per game this year. That's second in the league, behind only Minnesota. The Eagles are at their best when Saquon Barkley is getting 30 touches. Side note, there might not be a more exciting player to have with the ball in his hands than Saquon Barkley, but for what it's worth, I do think the Ravens can somewhat stifle him, maybe make him have an average game. And if you make Jalen Hurts pass the ball 35 times in Baltimore, I kind of lean Ravens here.
I don't mean this in a negative way, Dylan. Will Levis is very exciting with the ball in his hands.
There's a wide range of possibilities of what's going to happen. I mean, you don't
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Will Levis in the frontal lobe dynamic.
Yeah,
duo.
we got to get that developed ASAP. If there's any way we can expedite that process.
Is he 25?
I have no clue.
Because
maybe like 23, shouldn't he?
Yeah, that's probably why. If 2 years, Will Levis might be the best player in the league because then it'll fully develop.
Will Levis with a fully developed frontal lobe is like Brett Favre.
He's 25.
Correct.
That's tough. Speaking of Will Levis, just real quick, did anybody see he extended the football out to the line of scrimmage like it was a first down, trying to get it early in the game? Oh, it was so funny. I was like, dude, what are you doing? You're 10 yards away still, buddy. And he gave me a little point too. It was great.
Ravens.
Yeah, Eagles-Ravens. By far the best game of the week now. I mean, this is
There's some good games this week. There's some good games on Sunday.
This is a loaded slate. We've previewed like 8 games so far, it feels like, and we're going to skip the Vikings-Cardinals, which is also a huge game this week.
Yeah, they did a great job this week, that's for sure. By far the best matchup. It's kind of odd. You bring up the run defense. The Ravens, where they lack is in the secondary, not on the defensive front at all. They're able to generate pressure. It's just a matter of if you generate pressure on Jalen Hurts, is he going to be able to escape it? But also, is Jalen Hurts going to be able to capitalize on this very poor Ravens secondary? I wish I could have an answer for you. I think what's going to happen here, it's going to be a big day for, it depends if Devonta Smith, I think it's going to be Eagles wide receivers, whether it's going to be getting the ball out quick because you're getting pressure, you're getting blitz, or trying to expose the secondary of the Ravens. I think A.J. Brown, if Devonta Smith is back, I think these Eagles wide receivers are going to have a day. I'm not going to take a side or a total on it, but I think the Eagles wide receivers are going to have a day.
Jalen Hurts has been great. He's only had 1 pick since September 22nd against the Saints. He has taken care of the ball, although he hasn't been under pressure to throw the ball a ton.
Yep.
He hasn't thrown the ball more than he threw the ball 28 times against the Commanders, but other than that, he hasn't thrown it more than 22 times in a game in like the last few weeks. He has not had to make those crucial clutch throws. If the Ravens do somewhat stifle Saquon Barkley and Hurts has to throw the ball 30 times, that makes me like the Eagles a little bit less. As much as I've liked them the last few weeks, I don't know. The Ravens defense might be equipped to at least slow them down.
Yeah, and you've been all over the Eagles here. Ben, are you going Ravens or Eagles?
I think I figured it out. I don't know if we were planning on talking about tonight's game. Tonight is a spot in which the Chargers win at home.
Love it.
But then the Ravens and Falcons win next week, where you have a Chargers letdown spot against the Falcons that have a Falcons team that has a lot of rest. On the other hand, the Ravens are a team that are going to lose tonight and bounce back against the Eagles. You look at Lamar Jackson in 24 games against NFC teams. He is 23-1 in his career. Teams in the NFC just don't know how to prepare for him because they're not seeing him year in and year out like teams like Buffalo, Kansas City. Yeah, the AFC North as a whole. That makes me like Lamar Jackson and the Ravens here, especially an Eagles team that I think, although they're starting to come to form a little bit, they're due to drop one. And yeah, I don't like them tonight necessarily, but I really like them next week. That the NFC record thing, it's a pretty damning stat, frankly. 23-1 is nuts. So I see no reason not to say it's going to be 24-1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many times he's played the Panthers in that stretch, so it's kind of a misconstrued stat, you know. Just like have you
No, but
lopsided
last year blowouts against the Lions and the 49ers.
Yeah, but like I think blowing out the Lions is very easy compared to beating a team like Carolina is the issue.
That's fair.
Like Connor would agree definitely here.
A powerhouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
A powerhouse against the best quarterback in the league currently, someone who dices up the Chiefs and just, a team that gets bailed out. Connor, that Chiefs Panthers game, I started to see what you were talking about, the Chiefs flags and stuff. This isn't a recap show, but were there a lot of flags this weekend? I felt like it was just laundry day on Sunday watching the NFL. Just yellow flags everywhere. Every freaking game.
Holding everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Mike
Awful
Pereira. Well, the refs did a great job there. Okay, great job, Mike. Thanks for I need
some
Mike
in-depth
Pereira.
analysis.
I need Mike Pereira's job. Just sit there and watch football and just be like, the refs did a hell of a job on that play. Great.
Yeah, read from the rule book once every 3 games.
Like, oh wait, the rule book? I still need to do that. 49ers Bills. This game's in Buffalo. Sunday night football. Buffalo -6.5. If Brock Purdy is out for this game, do we see Daniel Jones suit up for the San Francisco 49ers in this game?
No, Daniel Jones is a Raider, baby. Are you serious?
Is he a Raider? I think
he would prefer to be on a playoff contending team is what I saw from Adam Schefter.
Yep, I saw that too.
Huh.
And that would be San Francisco.
And there you go. Team. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
Vikings?
do think it makes sense for him. Why just throw yourself in another crappy situation and fail when you can be like Mitch Trubisky and like sit behind a playoff team, just chill with a playoff team for the rest of this season.
He's getting paid.
Look good in the preseason next year, and then the following year get some random starting job again for you.
So you bring up Mitch Trubisky in the spot. So you're saying that the Bills are going to win by so much that we're going to end up seeing Daniel Jones versus Mitch Trubisky, a little Duke Carolina action.
Ooh,
I hope
ACC over.
Wow.
No, I don't even know if Brandon Allen is playing in this game again, I don't know how you can take the Niners. I mean, the Packers defense is not something to write home about, and they were obliterating him. Tom Brady actually did a great job on that game on Sunday, I think. He mentioned this multiple times. He goes, look, you haven't played football hardly in 3 years. You're not going to come out and beat this Packers team. And you think you're going to do it at Buffalo and when it's snowing? No way. There's no way I would back Brandon Allen, this team here. Yes, teams have success on the ground against Buffalo. I think McCaffrey has a really big day. But we saw if the quarterback has zero threat to throw the ball, they're just going to load the box. It's like playing against Michigan in this game. So if Brandon Allen's playing, I'm not taking a side. If they have a different quarterback playing, give me the Niners in the spot. Niners outright.
I'm 100% with you. If Brock Purdy plays, if they go and sign the ghost of Daniel Jones if he plays, Niners +7.
Josh
Niners
Dobbs,
outright.
I would even take.
Yeah, I love the Niners in this spot. I really do. If it's not Brandon Allen, give me the Niners +7. Way too many points.
Really?
Dylan is flat.
This is a 49ers defense that is not very good. Is
So,
Bosa
but-
playing? Do we know?
What'd you say?
Is Bosa playing?
We don't know yet.
No
It
clue.
hasn't been announced.
I
It
mean,
should get
that's-
announced. If you're listening to the podcast right now, it should have been announced fairly recently. I think that news will come out tomorrow.
Dylan, they're not talking about San Francisco's defense. They're fourth in opponent yards per game in the last 3 games, and they're for the year they're 6th. Like, it's not like they've been Swiss cheese or anything.
And also, you look at the Packers game, it's one of those instances where we see it with Michigan, and we saw it throughout the years with teams with elite defenses and terrible quarterbacks. Eventually, the defense is going to wear down in that spot, and that's my reasoning where if Brandon Allen's playing in the spot, I cannot back the 49ers here. But you give me someone like the Pastronaut or Daniel Jones or the ghost of Brock Purdy or, an injured Brock Purdy.
Josh
take the
Johnson.
Niners. No. That's another one. That's a no.
I'm seeing 49ers defensive numbers here. Rushing in the red zone, 29th. Rushing versus a stacked box, 23rd. Quarterback scrambles, 29th. Like, there's too much here for this 49ers on the defense. I think the Bills can expose. I'm not going to take a side. I'm probably going to go towards like a Christian McCaffrey prop, like you talked about, Carter. The Bills allow the most receiving yards to running backs, the second most receiving touchdowns to running backs. I think we touched on that when they played the Bills. I think we touched on Dolphins running back props. I think the Bills are they won't even have to throw the ball. They're just going to rush all over this 49ers defense. They have the second highest rush EPA the Bills do in the last 5 weeks. I don't see a path where the 49ers win here, even with Purdy or whoever you want to say isn't at quarterback.
The red zone defense has been bad for the Niners. I'll give you that.
And
They've
the
allowed a
offense,
touchdown
the red zone
almost
offense
like
has been
70%.
atrocious too.
Yeah. Well,
But that's
without a
basically-
lot of key pieces.
Yeah,
Oh, come
like
on
Purdy
now.
and
Jordan Mason was
McCaffrey haven't
great
been.
in McCaffrey's absence, and McCaffrey hasn't been great since he's came back.
Yeah, but also that's with an injured Purdy or Brandon Allen.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure. Okay. I forgot. Christian McCaffrey is also going to magically just turn it on this game too.
If Purdy plays, I think the Niners win.
Yes, that's what we're saying here. Is if there's no threat at quarterback, of course McCaffrey's not going to have as much success on the ground.
No shot the 49ers win.
No shot.
It's not even an offensive thing.
Josh Allen's had a pick in his last 4 games. He's kind of trending back towards the Josh Allen we know.
No, but turnovers are a luck stat. You can't
Yeah,
always throw the
Niners
ball.
yeah.
defense. 49ers
sorry.
defense, 29th in defending quarterback scrambles.
What
I
about
don't
him
care
throwing
if he turns the ball over.
What about throwing the? Yeah, but he's going to have to throw the ball eventually.
Fred Warner's getting a pick in this game.
I love Fred Warner.
I don't see it.
Ben, Niners or Bills?
If Brock Purdy and Nick Bosa are both healthy and playing, I like the 49ers to win. If Brock Purdy is hurt and Nick Bosa plays, I like the Niners to cover and not win. If Brock Purdy is out and Nick Bosa... Wait, did I just do that one?
This is
no.
This is
Okay.
sounding like like conference tiebreaker scenarios.
No, it is. They're both in. 49ers win. They both are out. Buffalo covers the spread.
Okay.
If Brock Purdy is out and Nick Bosa plays, I like Buffalo to cover the spread. But if Brock Purdy plays and Nick Bosa doesn't, then I think the Niners cover the spread but lose.
If anybody,
I think I said that all correctly. I think that all made sense.
now I think you said it all correctly. But if anybody was able to follow that, credit to you because that was there was too many scenarios. My brain was putting a pretzel.
It's like the
No, that
whiteboard
was-
with like all the equations.
Yeah. No, that was an awful equation. That was awful analysis as a whole for me. What I will say though is I do think McCaffrey is gonna. I think both teams are gonna have a lot of success running the ball, especially if Bosa is out and Purdy is playing. With that being said, just because that is an uncertainty and to kind of meet in the middle, I'm going to say the 49ers cover, but I think Buffalo wins. The 49ers, even when healthy, they're not showing me a ton. I do think Buffalo is recently coming off of that Kansas City win, so I could see the 49ers stealing one if they are healthy, but I have my doubts that they are fully healthy. Either way, I think both teams rush for over 100 yards, potentially. Like, I think this game is going to be on the ground a lot. You're going to see Josh Allen run the ball a lot. That's why I maybe lean Bills, maybe Bills by a field goal here. But without knowing the full injury report extent, it's hard for me to take a firm side.
I love it. All right, I think it's time for a parlay.
Are we doing 2 different ones?
We're gonna do 2 different ones.
Oh boy.
So
Okay.
do we want the Thanksgiving parlay to include props? If we do, we can just have that go out on socials, force everyone to follow at KarterKast and everything if you
I
want
like
to see that.
I like that.
And we can do, like Dylan liked Tommy DeVito anytime touchdown. That could be his leg. I could sit here and say, oh, Cole Kmet touchdown, something like that. We could,
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
let's cook that up because we want the Thanksgiving parlay to be just a heavy hitter, half a unit to win like $1 billion,
Pay
off
for your
mortgage.
Thanksgiving feast.
Yeah,
Ooh.
pay for your Black Friday shopping.
There you go.
Nice.
There-
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's do the normal parlay. Connor, where are you going?
So this line's actually flipped a lot since I bet it. I'm going Seattle, New York Jets. Give me Seattle minus. They're -2 right now. I guess I'll take the -2. Oh, please. This Jets team is DOA. Have you seen all the stuff about Aaron Rodgers coming out? It's like, he might not even play for them.
Wait, Aaron Rodgers came out?
Oh, breaking news.
There's word on the street that he doesn't want to play for the Jets next year, that they might put him on IR. This Jets team is cooked, done, put a fork in it. Seattle actually opened as +1.5. That's where I took him at. I'll take the -2. I think they win in New York this week, so that's the pick. Seahawks -2.
Seahawks -2. Dylan.
Oh, brother. Giants Cowboys under 38.5. No, can I do that? Can I do that?
No, we're doing non-Thanksgiving. Oh,
It's up to you.
That's what I want to do.
okay.
That's what you want to do? I'll allow it. I think that's fine. That's
Okay.
fair. Because you're not going to watch the game because you're going to be driving, so it doesn't matter.
Got
Ben,
it.
what's
I'm
your
not
pick?
driving. I
There it
told
is.
you already.
There it is.
Oh, well, I told you I was watching the game, but you don't listen.
Well, come
to
on
me.
now. We know that's not true.
Oh, yeah.
College basketball.
You're going to get a picture of me, and then you're going to be like, wait, I'm not watching the game. I'm actually driving. No way you're not driving.
You don't know how it works in the Wilkerson household.
Oh, so the women drive.
If you want to listen to your music, you drive.
Oh.
Just so happens Abby loves listening to her music.
Okay. All right. Fair. Ben.
I just want to start by saying that I would take that. I'd take not listening to my music over driving.
Yes, 100%.
Well,
Easy
10 out of
trade.
10 times.
Easy.
That's a big dub for Dylan this week.
No, I'd rather drive.
No. Anyways, man, I'm gonna do it again. Cardinals money line. I
don't hate this one.
I can't live in a world where this Vikings team is 8-2. I can't. It drives me crazy. I do think this is a spot in which I think the Vikings being so aggressive with their blitzing, Kyler's going to be able to evade that, be able to make some plays. Cardinals are coming off of a loss. I do think the Cardinals, frankly, are the best team in the NFC West. I think they're going to come out of the NFC West. I do. I think the Rams
No
are out of this.
shot.
The 49ers stink. You know
Okay,
what?
what about the
I'll say it.
Seahawks?
49ers stink.
We're not talking about the 49ers. They just lost to the Seahawks yesterday. And they were not the better team in that game.
As I told you, it was the right pick, wrong result. So in my mind, the Cardinals are better.
Can we at least take the Cardinals +4, or are we just going?
Yeah,
all in?
no, you're right. Cardinals plus 3.5
we'll go.
is what I have it at. Let's do Cardinals plus 3.5. So if the Vikings inevitably win another close one on a field goal, we can win. But yeah, no, I like the Cardinals to keep this close, if not win. I really believe in them still as the NFC West best team despite yesterday's result, and I think the Vikings are due to drop one here.
Can the parlay go from Thursday to Monday?
Why not? Yeah, drag it
why
out
not?
for the people.
Sure.
Broncos, Browns, under 41.5.
Ooh.
That's disgusting.
That's
It
gross.
is so
I kind
gross.
of like it,
It's
though.
so nasty. There's going to be
I'm
a
seeing
pick 6 in
42.
that game. Give me 42. Can I get Cardinals +4 then as well?
I do see +4 on two different books.
Okay, if you see +4, we're getting +4. We're getting best number possible here.
Yep, there you go.
All right, Browns, Broncos under 42, Cardinals +4, Giants, Cowboys under 38.5, Seahawks -2. That's the parlay this week. Make sure to follow. We'll have our Thanksgiving props and everything on all our social media channels at KarterKast on everything. Download SeatGeek, use code KarterKast, $20 off your first purchase. Subscribe. Make sure to check out the college football show. Check out the college basketball show. Check out everything on our YouTube and all our social media channels. Great stuff. Happy Thanksgiving, fellas. Happy football. Happy feast week. Happy everything. Let's go. Going to be a great week, Dylan, huh?
Happy football for some of us. Some of us that'll be watching.
Well, you'll be driving.
Yeah.
That's it for us. Let's go. Bye-bye.